Hello again, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm all set to count down this week's 40 most played country songs in the nation, compiled by MediaBase 24/7 for the chart week of May 17th, 2025. Got one debut and one re-entry this week, but before we get started, let's take a look back at last week's top three. Number 3 was Whiskey Drink by Jason Aldean. Number 2 was I'm the Problem by Morgan Wallen. And the number 1 song last week was Texas by Blake Shelton. Now, can Blake stay at number 1 for another week? Let's find out starting right now. Here's a song that debuted a couple of weeks ago, fell out last week. This week it climbs back in at number 40, the second top 40 hit by Chase Matthew called Darlin'. Falling back 3 spots to 39 is the second top 40 hit by Warren Ziders called Relapse. Up a notch to number 38, here's Miranda Lambert with Run. Holding at number 37 this week is Parmalee with Cowgirl. Up 2 spots to 36, Megan Patrick with Golden Child. Holding at number 35, Ernest and Would If I Could. Holding steady at number 34 with 3-2-1, Tucker Wetmore. Holding steady at number 33 is George Birds, and It Won't Be Long. And here's her only debut on the chart this week, clocking in at number 32, the 6th top 40 hit by Bailey Zimmerman, and the 23rd chart entry for Luke Combs called Backup Plan. In that one debut and one re-entry, we say goodbye to 2 droppers. Falling Out are Forever to Me and Better Than You. On with the countdown for a second week at number 31. Here's Dierks Bentley with She Hates Me. Just his 4th week in the countdown, he's up 2 spots to number 30, Jelly Roll with Heart of Stone. Holding steady at number 29, here's Rascal Flatts and the Jonas Brothers with I Dare You. Up 2 spots to number 28, Keith Urban and Straight Line. Up a notch to number 27, Jordan Davis with Bar None. Up 1 to number 26 is Parker McCollum with What Kind of Man. Just his 6th week in the countdown, he's up 1 to 25, Russell Dickerson with Happened to Me. Up 1 to number 24, Jackson Dane with Heavens to Betsy. Up 1 to number 23, Eric Church with Hands of Time. In his 20th week in the countdown, he's up 1 to 22, John Party and Friday Night Heartbreaker. And the number 21 spot, up a notch, here's Shabuzi with Good News. Just his 10th week in the countdown, he slips back a spot to number 20, Thomas Rhett with After All the Bars Are Closed. Up 2 spots to number 19, here's Carly Pearce with Truck on Fire. At number 18 for a second week, here's Luke Bryan with Country Song Came On. Up 3 spots to number 17, Morgan Wallen and Just in Case. At number 16, up a notch, here's Nate Smith and Fix What You Didn't Break. Holding steady at number 15, his 18th week on the chart, Tyler Hubbard with Park. And leaping 2 spots up to number 14 is Sam Hunt with Country House. Here's last week's number 1 record, down to number 13 this week, Blake Shelton with Texas. At number 12 for a second week, here's Drew Baldridge and Tough People. In the 11th ranked country hit this week, up 3 spots. Here's Josh Rouse with Single Again. Alright, here's the first of the 10 biggest hits. Here's Jelly Roll, down 3 spots to number 10 with his former number 1 hit, Liar. Alright, leaping 2 spots up to number 9, scoring her second top 10 hit. Here's Ella Langley and Weren't for the Wind. Holding steady at number 8 with our former number 1, here's Low Cash with Hometown Home. Up 3 spots to number 7, it's Corey Kent and This Heart. Moving up 3 spots to number 6, here's Riley Green with Worst Way. At number 5, up a notch, here's Kane Brown and Backseat Driver. Up a notch to number 4, it's Megan Maroney and Am I Okay? Here's a song that's been on the chart the longest at 32 weeks, spending a 3rd week at number 3. It's Jason Aldean and Whiskey Drink. The number 2 song for the 6th week in a row belongs to Morgan Wallen and I'm the Problem. And the new number 1 song in country music this week took 23 weeks to get here, leaping 3 spots from number 4 to number 1, as this becomes his very first number 1 country hit. Congratulations to Zach Top and the song called I Never Lie. And that is our countdown of this week's 40 most played country hits. Join me again next week. Once again, we'll count them down and find out who's got the number 1 song in North America.